Hey, Mark Rodriguez here, and with me is...
Jupi Chan, also known as Wendy Jupi, or you call me Wendy. Hi guys.
Yes, and you're watching the review, Sanctum, where everything and anything may be reviewed. And today, we're going into Superman, the 2025 movie, because it was just called Superman, no like subtitle or anything. And this is still opening weekend, so, you know, spoilers, watch out, we're going to go deep into the movie, and yeah, just spoilers, be warned. So, yeah, first off, just want to say real quick, one thing that's noticeable about this movie is that it does kind of start off with like a history, in the sense that in this movie it's not like the big introduction or whatever. Everyone already knows who Superman is. Everyone knows about other metahumans, and Lex Luthor and Superman already have a history of like, you know, off-screen battles and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And even comes a plot point, because the movie kind of starts off with Superman fighting against this bad guy that we later find out this Lex Luthor and his whole team of people are controlling it, and they're like yelling out like attack names or attack variations, because I guess like they have like data of all previous Superman battles and stuff. So it's like A15 is a punch, A18
is a kick, or a kick, or
you know, stuff like that.
I thought that was kind of interesting. It's like watching a video game or something. You know, like you know which moves to do the combo, because you're already anticipating what your opponent is going to do. So I thought that was pretty cool.
The only thing that did surprise me is that we saw the trailer. Everyone saw the big teaser trailer where Superman was like knocked out of the sky and falling down. He's all bleeding and stuff, and he's calling for crypto. I'm surprised the movie like literally started off with that, because usually they don't do that. Usually, you know, they pick a random scene for the trailer and that's whatever. But I'm surprised that the movie literally started off with the same scene that we saw like from the teaser.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that till you mentioned it. That was in the teaser. Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, we got lots of stuff going on.
The main plot.
Yeah, you can help me out with that one.
Okay, the plot kind of gets me a little. So there are these two countries that are like going against each other or whatever it is, and one wants to invade the other, and Luthor got himself involved, and he pretty much caused the conflict on either side.
And he also sold all the weapons, because one country had all the weapons while the other ones were just like, you know,
yeah. So he's profiting off of all of this, because his company is the one providing all the weaponry and all of that stuff. So he's creating all the conflict because he wants to kind of rule one of those particular countries. But Superman got involved because he was helping the side without the weapons. So Luthor is pretty much demonizing Superman for that. You know, and he's saying they're trying to be political and all this other stuff, where we already know Superman's character. He don't care what you are, what you believe, or whatever. If he sees you're in trouble, he's going to try to save you. You know, because that is his personality, that is his character. And it was really exhibited when a building was about to fall and he saved a squirrel.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. So Luthor's whole plan basically is, because they're trying to raise all the issues, because of course we all know that Superman is pretty damn, you know, unstoppable by regular means. So it's kind of like, you know, does he have the right to just go to other countries and do this and that on America's behalf or whatever, you know, all that kind of stuff.
And you find out, like, he was like, how he was explaining to Lois, like, no, I wasn't doing it on behalf of anybody. I'm doing it on behalf of myself to help these people that needed help. Yeah. Which is definitely his character, and it's always been his character for the most part.
Yeah, there was actually a scene. So we know here, again, since time has passed, at this point Lois and Clark are already dating, and she already knows that he's Superman. So they're doing an interview of, I guess, of how it would be if she did interview Superman, like in character, because, you know, it's a recorder tape, so obviously you can't tell who it is. So, you know, Clark is using a Superman voice to answer the questions. So she goes deeper into why he felt he had to intervene, why he's going to other countries' political affairs, whatever. And Superman's like, people are going to die, and all that. And that's his thing. He helps people.
Yeah, that's all he does. He just wants to help, because that's how he felt what his mission was, you know, being sent to Earth to help protect, you know, the people of Earth.
Yes. Now, the real big thing happens here. And this is what a lot of people are going to not like about the movie, if you're a big fan of Superman, just in general, all the comic book history, cartoons, etc. So, Lex Luthor does discover where Superman's Fortress of Solitude is. And he basically releases a big old monster in the city, so if Superman's busy doing that, they can go in there and invade the area. Yeah. So Lex Luthor has Ultraman working for him, who's all covered up throughout most of the movie. And he also has this woman that has like all kinds of nanites in her body, so she could transform, and shift, and just create whatever she needs to.
And I cannot remember her name.
Me neither. And so basically, Superman's fighting the monster, and at the same time, we find out there's other heroes. I did mention other metahumans. So we got this Justice Gang, which is Guy Gardner version of Green Lantern. We got Hawkwoman, and we got Mr. Terrific. So they're also fighting the monster, but the thing is, they're fighting it in like dangerous and more lethal ways, and like ignoring the collateral damage. While Superman is trying to see if he can stop the monster in a non-lethal way, just get him out of there or whatever, and also saving people because there's falling buildings, falling debris, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And everything. But then while that's happening, Luthor and his people find like the Fortress of Solitude, they actually get in, they break in and whatever, and they find this message that the movie showed earlier, that whenever Superman wants to, feel soothed or whatever, he watches the original message of his parents. Everyone knows by now, the whole parents setting Superman off as a baby before Krypton exploded. So they have like the little message about, go out there, son, be brave, and we're going to send you to a world where you can survive, and that kind of stuff. So what happens is...
But the second half of but only the first part of that message is heard, but because of the damage that, I guess the ship took when crashing on Earth, the second message was always jarbled, and you could never like fully get what they were going to say later on. Yeah, so Ms. Nanite Woman did a whole bunch of stuff, and she was like freaking, it was affecting her, and she hacked it and got the full message and everything. And that's where shit goes down. So Superman just saved the day from the monster. People are all, applauding and all that stuff. And now they have like, like the big screens in the cities and stuff. They're showing the big TVs and everyone's devices is the big news that Luthor has revealed, Superman's true intentions, because unfortunately, and this is the part that's going to piss everyone off, including us, the rest of the message was showing that the parents actually wanted Superman to go rule other worlds, because the world we've chosen is full of simple people, easy to convince, like gain their trust and rule over them, and also build a harem and all that kind of stuff. And so everyone turned on Superman, and the thing that gets it is that it would be an interesting plot point if this was, Luthor hacking in and miss whatever, but unfortunately throughout the movie it's revealed that that's the truth, that's the real message. His parents are assholes, and even Mr. Terrific that knows all the technology, all the hacking, all the kind of junk, he proves that is real. It can't be hacked like this and that kind of stuff. And then that makes Clark feel very conflicted. Yeah, so because fans, because I mean. Yeah, and you have people saying like, yeah, we don't like him no more. I don't trust him anymore. I always supported him. But of course, you still have people that still support him. Yeah. But yeah, and then the other thing too, that even prior to that point, Luthor was doing pretty much damage to his credibility online by a lot of through social media. You have people like saying, "Oh, Superman sucks," or all this crazy mess, and just so it's revealed that Lex Luthor has a pocket dimension where he goes like you use it to kind of, I guess you go through the dimension, you go to one part and you go to the other dimension that's somewhere else. So he has contact with the dictator from that other country. So basically he uses like a portal to go from America to the country, but also other places. And in the fucking pocket dimension, and I'm not kidding here, I've heard the jokes and stuff, but it's true. He has an entire room full of trained monkeys that are doing nothing but typing like negative Superman shit non-stop all day, every day on all the social medias and whatever. Yeah. That's, it's comic book stuff, I guess, and that's Lex Luthor, because I feel he would be that petty, but oh my god. But anyways, what I was going to say, the whole thing with the parents, that got me, because I was expecting, it was going to reveal through the end, but no, that's the truth. Yeah, and like you said, that did shatter Clark's world, but also a lot of people did bring up, and I remember this now, they've been doing it with Batman 2 in the comics lately. They've been doing this stuff where, even newer, some of the, like the Batman Telltale series, where instead of Batman's parents being nice and altruistic like we thought we are, now we find out that they're also douchey or mixed with crime or unfaithful and that kind of junk. Yeah, even the what was that? The Batman game we had. The Telltale game. Yeah, that was showing they were mixed with crime and stuff. Even the Joker is pretty much showing that Bruce's father wasn't the best in the world. So they keep running with that theme that they're like douchey. So now I guess it's Superman's turn. Now his parents are also douchey. Yeah, and I'm not very well versed in the Superman comics, later stuff. So I'm just wondering, is that actually in the comics where they changed the whole storyline where his parents said, oh no, you were sent to Earth to rule over them and procreate because our planet about to just go kablooey. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it almost sounds like the Saiyan, sort of.
That's what I didn't want to go there, but yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. It sounds like Goku's story. Except, you know, Goku's like the anti-Superman story. He was sent there to, you know, pretty much destroy it and help conquer it for, you know, the Saiyans and all that stuff, or, you know, all that junk. But, you know, he bumped his head, got amnesia, was a nice kid, and, you know, he grew up being more virtuous and, you know, against that.
Yeah. And now in this case, Superman, I mean, he
always
bumped his head, but he always grew up with
the good values, virtues, and all that other stuff. He found out his real parents saying, no, man, you're supposed to kill all those people. So, yeah, I didn't like that little twist, and I think it would have worked better if it turned out that Lex, with all of his technology and know-how, messed it up so that people think that's what his parents wanted to do, and he hacked the message, tricked people, you know, like he's Lex Luthor. He has the technology and the brains to do that.
That's what I was expecting, you know?
That was the only real negative of this film, and Supergirl, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So Superman turns himself in, but he gets sent off to the pocket dimension instead of, like, I guess, regular jail, where you would do with Superman. But, yeah, so he's in a particular, like, a bunch of, like, cages. There's tons of cages of other people. I wish you had some DC cameos there, but there weren't any. But lots of cages, and a lot of, like Lex Luthor's, like, ex-girlfriends, or anyone that, I guess,
anyone that's crossed him, or someone he needs them for whatever reason. So, like, for example, the other, you know, the other government officials or whoever was saying, like, okay, what's that kryptonite thing that Superman can't be around?
Mm-hmm.
And Luthor was like, kryptonite. You know, like, that was just a funny scene. But yeah, so they were saying that we don't have it here on Earth, but he has access to it.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
Yeah, we got a guy called Metamorpho, or the Element Man. He could change his body type into anything, which of course in this case also includes kryptonite. So he's kryptonite poisoning Superman where he can't do anything. But he is also under duress because they got his baby. They got his baby and they're threatening to kill him if he doesn't obey and stuff like that. So Lex brings in this random dude that Superman saved earlier, and they're like keeping because this movie's Lex Luthor is extremely obsessive and stalkery and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he noticed it earlier when Superman got hurt in the earlier battle. He noticed this guy and, you know, wanted to go to Superman to help him, and and then you find out that apparently he gave him food or something at one point. And
how dare he?
So he brought him in and Russian roulette, and, you know, asking him questions. And the guy was saying, no, Superman, don't give information and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, Clark is like, oh my gosh, you know, he's really upset, you know.
They can't do nothing due to the kryptonite stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they shot the guy, and in this case it was too far because Metamorpho didn't like that either. You know, innocent people just getting killed like for nothing. So
but one thing, just adding on to that, that particular guy that got killed. If you look at the page later on in the movie, they were saying the real hero was a Metropolis, and they had his picture on there. Yeah. Yes, for the news article.
Yeah. So so Metamorpho let Superman go because with the trust of Superman will save his kid, and he did. And, you know, epic fighting, epic stuff, lots of action, lots of stuff because Superman was holding the baby the whole time. He was trying so hard not to lose it while people were ganging up on him and attacking and everything. Lois Lane was brave enough to go with Mr. Terrific directly to that other country to find out what happened. He found the
portal,
the pocket dimension technology and stuff like that. Lex Luthor also got even more petty and more stuff. He wanted to, like, activate the portal in the city to just crack open the world and stuff.
I mean, and his little scientist people were telling him, you know the dangers and the repercussions for all they said. I don't care. You gotta get rid of him. You know.
Yeah, it was real.
He was really, really petty and envious, and I mean, that's like on the top level. Don't care who he takes down.
When they were like real close to the city and stuff, he was still like, I don't care, he chose him, let him save him then and whatever. Like, it was like...
Yeah, it's like he was really, really super jealous.
I know. That's like pettiest Lex Luthor we've seen in the early... Well,
look on the bright side. Look on the bright side, he's not going around giving people Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah, he's not doing that. Yeah, that's the thing. He did act like you would expect Luthor of around his general age, because he was like a younger Luthor in this movie to act. He was not acting like the Riddler in the Snyder version. But yeah. But anyways, let me see here. Yeah, so there's lots of stakes going on all at the same time. We've got, I don't want to spoil too much at the end, but it was kind of like, it was a mixture between the giant, Ripture trying to split the city apart and kill. And it was heading towards a part where a lot of people, and it would have been too late to evacuate and everything. While at the same time, the other countries, they were about to attack their war. And and Superman is still fighting with Ultraman and all that. So it's like, it gets intense because what do? He's needed everywhere, but he's also being stuck by these guys that are attacking him and shit. And it's like, it gets intense near the end and everything. It was just wow. Yeah. That's all I can say. And yeah, so overall, I did enjoy the movie. It was fun. It was cool. I like that Superman was he did feel a bit more real, because we did see him, raise his voice here and there.
He showed more vulnerabilities emotionally.
Yeah, he wasn't super perfect because Superman's always mostly super calm and super.
And honestly, that's one of the main things I always found kind of boring about Superman as a character. So that's why, like, between Batman and Superman, I'm always drawn to Batman more as opposed to Superman.
Yeah.
Because I always found him, like I said, found him boring.
Yeah, and it was just intense, because it's like Superman was just, like, they were all up on him during the movie. You had all these different people. You had the Nanite one was very dangerous, because she could even put the Nanite, like, through your nose to go, like, in his lungs and stuff. And Superman's trying to fight it off, and the scientific people watching, it don't matter, man. It's still in his lungs, still can't breathe, and all that. And that's the thing, too. Where did Lex Luthor get a bunch of super faithful, like, weird gamer dudes in this big office? It's like, it almost looked like when they were knocking out the cameras one by one and they all their headsets, it almost looked like they were watching like an evil tournament or something.
I swear, yeah.
But how do you get people that are just so...
Like I said, they must...
Like they were having... Yeah, see?
No, I'm saying, no, they have fat paychecks. That's all I'm saying. Super good benefits.
Yeah, but the thing is, they were not under duress or anything. They were like legit having a good time. We're whooping Superman's ass. Yeah, they're all doing like the whole, we got him, and everyone's all clapping and
like high fives and
like not one person.
It's like the NASA people, like they have a successful shuttle launch. Yeah, we got it, everybody. Give us
some champagne and all that.
Yeah, but that was just weird.
I know. It's so crazy.
Or it could be a situation where they just say, well, we're all screwed anyway because Lex Luthor is Lex Luthor. We got to just go along with him, or we're going to be in that pocket dimension because they know about it. So that could have been it too, because you end up in the pocket dimension, you don't come back.
Yeah.
I mean, you're trapped down there. So that makes me wonder, were they being fed?
I don't know. But I'm assuming so, but
Yeah, but there are regular humans down there, so not metahumans.
That's okay. But overall, it's a good movie. I also like the what do you call it? The Justice Gang characters. Guy Gardner did act, super cocky and full of himself. Like he's supposed to. I mean, basically his whole personality in comic books, he's a dick, basically, to everyone. So
and a terrible haircut.
Yep, and he did that, and it's accurate to the comics. That's what he's known for, having that little bowl cut. And Hawkwoman was cool and everything too in her way. She didn't get as much to do, really, more or less. She was more the action-heavy character, but obviously she's there to kind of roll her eyes at whatever guy says. And Mr. Trevor was just badass. He had a cool.
Yeah, he was the best of the three, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, he just had that cool kind of stoic attitude, and since he got to take Lois Lane along, he was like, because basically she went to the Justice Gang for help, but he didn't care or whatever.
Because Lois found out that Superman was trapped in that pocket dimension, and of course, they decided, guys are like, what do you expect us to do about it? Stuff like that,
Yeah. And Terrific was the only one that went along, so he's got some cool like solo scenes and stuff like that. And of course, people love Crypto. Crypto got a lot of scenes too. And yeah, the last thing we're gonna say that's not too spoiler. It's kind of spoiler, I guess. But yeah, Supergirl disappeared at the very end, and we're not too fond of her portrayal. And we'll see what happens, because the rumors are that the next movie was gonna be a Supergirl movie. So I'm kind of not in a rush to see this version of Supergirl have her own movie. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, and okay, so one thing we didn't really mention. We didn't mention how Lois found out Superman was in the pocket dimension. Well, we just won't get into it, but it was because of Jimmy Olsen. And actually, Jimmy was my favorite character in this movie. Because he had a source that was feeding him information. He gave that information to Lois, but he couldn't fully reveal who that source was. So we won't spoil what who the source is, because you do find out about it.
Yeah. But it's interesting though that Jimmy was like a ladies' man. He's like just walking down.
Yeah.
The thing he was talking to Clark. I thought the girls were kind of like random office girls. You know, but I thought they were looking at Clark. That big buffer guy, even though he's kind of goofy. You know.
No, but they were eyeing Jimmy, and I was like, well, he is kind of cute. I mean, in that cute little, I don't know, I thought he was cute too. So.
And hey, they actually kept Jimmy a redhead this time.
Oh, a cute one too.
Well, I'll say the Lois actress, she was kind of cute in a way too.
Whatever.
Her clothes fit her well.
Whatever.
We'll just say that.
Whatever.
Okay, but anyways.
I just want to say one more thing. It's not real spoil at this point because Superman has been around for like 90 years or so at this point. But Lois and Clark are a thing in this film because it's already established. And the thing that's funny, because it seemed like everybody knew about it, except for like
they themselves, I guess.
Yeah, because they're trying to, be all discreet about it, and it's like, Perry was all like asking Jimmy, like, so how long has Lois and Superman been a thing? Man, they've been like sneaking around for about 3 months now. You know, it's like,
that is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, but overall, pretty good scene, and we also got to see the Kents as well, a little bit of his upbringing and stuff like that, and yeah, very good movie, lots of action, lots of villains that can give Superman a challenge and stuff. That was the biggest thing about, Superman Returns, like almost no action at all. So this one's got like a bunch of good action characters, giant monsters, lots of like comic book stuff. Like this whole thing was very, very comic book stuff. With fighting giant monsters in the pocket dimension, which is of course all the comic book, wacky science stuff. And also, like, it's funny because it's so, I guess, commonplace in this world. There's a scene that Superman and Lois are having a kind of serious conversation because he's kind of mopey with the stuff going on. But outside the windows, they got a giant starfish alien with Justice Gang trying to take him down. And it's kind of like, should we worry about that? And they got it. Because it's just a common occurrence of giant monsters and giant robots and aliens and whatever all over the place by this time.
Yep.
And like I said, that's like the most comic book thing ever because, yeah, a lot of these movies like to do the whole, like, you try to really, really grind in reality, you gotta make it as realistic as possible and stuff, but here they just went balls to the walls with, like, it's just comic book stuff, man.
Right, so, and I heard there's controversy with this film because Superman's an immigrant or something.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna say this is not the first time that has even been brought up in any form. I mean, the 90s show addressed it. They mentioned it in Smallville, because my mother was watching through Smallville now, because even she was questioning that part. I said, wait, did they really talk? Whatever. But anyway, the Smallville series that talked about it, about, wait a minute, he's not here. You're illegal alien and all that other stuff. But it didn't really, it worked out in those mediums. I don't know why it's a big deal all of a sudden now.
No, it's mostly because I guess current day stuff. We don't go into it because we don't discuss stuff like that on our channel. But it is kind of, I guess, on current day. But Lex Luthor had always had like that hatred for Superman because he is, I guess in this case, a literal alien from their planet and stuff like that. And that has been brought up lots of times. I remember in the 90s cartoon, he would still be like, alien, and like it would still like bring that up.
Yeah, Superman animated series. Yeah, another medium that actually brought that topic up, and no one made a big deal.
So a lot of people kind of, I don't know. I guess it's, I guess they want to do the allegory stuff, but it still works within the context of the movie because Superman is a legit alien from outer space and stuff like that. So a lot of that stuff is kind of like how people would treat, I guess, if real life aliens existed. I guess that they would have that kind of treatment, Even in the movie when they arrest him and stuff, he saw, hey, you're gonna read my rights. You don't got no rights, you're alien, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I think some people are kind of resonating that with current events we would not bring up. But I guess it's whatever. I guess the biggest deal that got it, and I think it would not have been such a problem or such a thing, because again, this is what Superman has always had, is that the director himself was kind of like, in this movie, Superman's an immigrant, blah, 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 and that's what kind of brought up everyone. I'm sure if he said nothing, like,
I didn't know that. Well, you know me, I don't pay attention to stuff like that, so I wouldn't know it.
Yeah, so I'm sure, I think James Gunn, if he didn't say that, like, it wouldn't be this big deal. It would just gone over everyone's heads, because it's what Superman's always been. He's always been from Krypton. He assimilated his life. You know, grew up in Kansas. He decided to help people, and of course we got the whole truth, justice, the American way. So I'm pretty sure if James Gunn never said that, I mean, some people might have whatever, but it would have gone over most people's heads because that's how it's always.
I would have thought twice about it.
Because remember, Superman is, you know, if he existed, he is like a super powerful, almost invincible person. And I'm sure in real life there would be concerns. What if Superman has a bad day one day, or what if something happens?
Yeah, that's called Batman. That's called Batman v Superman.
Yeah, but it is a true concern. Like, what happens if Superman decides to say, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna take over this world. You know, we'll all be screwed, and that is a real fear. Obviously, Lex Luthor takes advantage of that, but it is a real fear. You know, even in the movie, you had some other military guys. You had Flag in there. I think his father, Flag Senior. He's one of the DC people too. He's also like government official, and he wasn't taking Luthor's side, but he still had those questions and doubts. You know what I mean? Like, what do we do with a person that can survive a nuke? Like nothing. You know what I mean? Like, you know. But anyways, guys, in my opinion, it doesn't really ruin the movie or anything. It's you know, pretty cool and all that. And I'm sure if it wasn't brought up, it would just gone over people's heads. It's always been a Superman thing.
Yep, always.
So anyways, guys, this is Mark Rodriguez signing off. I would say it's a fun movie. Check it out. It's a more lighthearted, more comic booky movie, but still lots of serious moments, especially with Clark questioning everything he ever knew, because, I mean, that is a big revelation to fuck everything up, you know, like the whole core of your character.
And you know, it's sort of like, it could be an allegory to being adopted too, because let's say like you're, you know, like a person that's grown up with someone you always thought were your parents, and then all of a sudden you find they're not your parents, and you want to know why you were put up for adoption, and maybe you find out the real situation that your parents got rid of you because they just didn't want you, type of thing.
Yeah, or let's say your parents died in some whatever, but you're trying to remember, and you always think you're so whatever, then you find out that they were assholes.
Or something like that, or that type of situation too. So like, you know, it can go either way. Just, you know, it seemed like a good adoption story thing where where you have to accept, you know, what your parents have said or done, even if you didn't know that about them. You always had this high opinion of them, and then it's sort of like it drops because they did something that you would not be, you know, cool with. Sort of like the whole situation with Bruce right now, like in those, you know, like in the game, those games.
Yeah, his father having multiple affairs and stuff in the current comics too.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I know. Yes, I know. But anyways, this is Mark Rodriguez signing off for the review Sanctum, where everything and anything may be reviewed.
Bye, guys.
Yep. See you next time.